Hey there everyone, Paller here, and welcome back to Star Citizen. Today I want to start with a probably four-part series of introducing new players to Star Citizen, at least 2.5, 2.6, alpha build, what it is you can do, getting in, playing, enjoying what is available to you. I've seen quite a few people coming in with the free fly going on over the last few days and through the next 5 or 6 days, running into just basic questions that they're not understanding, because there is a lot to learn with this game. So today we're going to just cover over most of the basics, understanding what the different options are in the hangar, the universe, and all of that. Then the next video will go over actually understanding getting into Crusader. The third video is going to go into basic flight controls. And then I think there's going to be a fourth video of getting the most out of the Star Citizen, what's currently available in Star Citizen. But that's for later down the road. Today, what we have is I've basically gone back and set my game back to what is as close to the default as I think I can make it. This should be area view, I think, by default. Yes, that's fine. Yeah, all that's back to normal. So this would be like your brand new player jumping in, just starting off what it is you're going to experience. So let's explain some things and we'll go over what it is you can do. First, we're actually going to go back into the options and we're going to talk briefly about the graphics. So there's not a whole lot of graphic settings for you to try. You have some different resolutions, full screen or windowed. No borderless window. You also have low, medium, high, and very high. But for most people, this is not going to have any real impact on you at all. They've not put any scaling in, or very little scaling has been done so far, changing from low to medium to high. You're going to see almost no performance gains or losses, especially inside Crusader, inside the universe, even a bit inside ArcCorp. And what's going on here is, we've talked briefly in previous videos about there's isolated physics realms or something. I'm not exactly sure what the technical term is, but essentially when you're inside your ship, that ship has its own physics bubble around it. And another ship flying next to you has its own physics bubble around it. And the space station has its own physics bubble around it. And this is how they can keep it, where you can be walking around in the back of a ship that is flying through space and warp without falling out of it. Well, they were having issues where people running at different frame rates were desyncing. So what they've basically done is they've gone ahead and on the network side through the connection, they are limiting your frame rate down. So when you're flying along in multiple ships, you're not having people just fall out of the ship, at least not as much as they were before. It still does happen from time to time, but it's kind of a band-aid fix over that as they work everything else out around it. So by adjusting these, you might notice you go into Crusader, in here, Universe, Crusader, load in, you're in the starport and everything, and you're on low settings, or you're on high settings and you're only getting like 24 FPS. And then you go to low settings and you're still getting the same 24 FPS. It's not your computer, it's what they're doing with the game in order to keep the physics from breaking. If you actually want to test your computer and see how well it's doing, how well it's handling the game, the hangar is where you want to go for that. The hangar is just you, there's no other players. We'll actually be in the hangar here in a little bit, but that's where you can kind of see how your game is running. So that is the first thing to understand about the graphics. And then we do have different views here. Now, the reason I changed this back is aerial view, I'm just going to show you one of the common bugs you're going to run into. If you run into this, don't freak out. So the next step we're going to do is let's go ahead. We'll go into that hangar like I was talking about. And what we will likely see, and it's going to probably make a fool out of me though, is some hangars have known issues. And they're not game-breaking issues, but there's some weird ones. Aerial view, for example, has known odd lighting issues. Like you can see right here. You can hopefully you can see. I don't know how well this will translate through to YouTube, but the whole thing is kind of, there's a haze effect going on within the hangar here now, where it's hard to see. Everything's got a bit of a haze to it. This is a known bug. It's something with this hangar. I would say 8 out of 10 times you load into aerial view hangar, you're going to run into this. You will also sometimes see, if we walk over here and come up to this, you see how I have that use symbol in the center of my screen and back away? Well, sometimes you'll load in and you'll have that use symbol no matter what. Just standing here in the middle, that use symbol be in the center of your screen. To get rid of it, just walk up to something like this, back away, and it should go away from that. It's another known bug. If we go ahead and we go back to the main menu, hit exit yes. We will then go into hangar. Nope. Go to options. Change to, say, the Revel and York. Revel York, like there. Go back, and then go into the hangar. This is a different hangar that I have access to. This one has other problems. This one has graphic tearing, like texture tearing, but it doesn't tend to have the weird lighting bugs that the area view does. So when this is in, you notice that. Give it a sec to update. Yeah, everything looks much cleaner. The visuals, the lighting is a lot better. But if we run out here onto the floor, let's see here, right there, you see some of like the floor textures, they kind of break and tear apart a little bit. That's another issue with this. Sometimes you'll get, rather than like a fog effect, you'll get the LED effect where like this light would be super blindingly bright. It would be like a red supernova right here, and you couldn't actually look at it. It just washes everything else away. Just another bug that can happen. Now, I actually put another video together a few weeks back going over the hangar, so I'm not going to dive back into the hangar too much. This is your hangar, yeah. And do I want to talk about anything else here? The hangar really, for new players that haven't watched the other video, this is where you can sit down and really inspect your ship. Now, if you're on the free account, you're going to have the Super Hornet. So let's come in here. The 7CM is the Super Hornet. Back away. So this is going to be the ship you have. There's not a huge amount of interactivity that you can actually do with this ship. You can get in and out right here is going to get you in and out of the cockpit. And then you can also get in and out of the turret, but the turret's all kind of bugged out and weird. And that's really all that there is to interact with the ship. Kind of, I don't want to say disappointing, it's just what a fighter is. Fighters don't have a huge amount of interactivity by and large. So for that type of player, you're not going to do a lot of actual playing. I should actually explain one thing of what I just did there. So the interact button is F by default. So if we hit here, come to options, come to key bindings, you'll actually see the controls lays out. So not flight, but on foot, you can actually see F interact. So that seems easy enough. F to get in was pretty good. To get back out of the ship, what I did was I actually held F for about 2 seconds. So when you're sitting in a ship and you don't actually just hit F and get out of the cockpit when you're flying along, you have to hold it for 2 to 3 seconds before it actually registers. And then there's another one. Right, see, that's still the front. Here, where's the back one? There's a back turret, there we go. So now I'm gonna end up getting in the back. You notice the back turret opened up, rather. This, clearly broken. I'm climbing up a ladder that doesn't exist. Now I'm walking on this, and I'm actually gonna kind of teleport inside. It's just broken, and this is supposed to be like a screen-operated turret we're supposed to be looking at here. It doesn't actually work. So if we hold F, get back out. It does work better though when you're flying it. So if somebody was in the cockpit and we were actually out in the universe flying, while the animations are still all broken, you can actually use it. It just doesn't work in the hangar mode. Now, if you do have, say, let's get rid of this. If you have, say, a larger ship, let's see, size 3, where's the size 4? Like the Freelancer, size 4, size 1, 2. Come on. I'm left-clicking on those blue dots. I should explain that. So the blue dots I'm looking at, I'm left-clicking on them. So if we put down the Freelancer, it's going to freak out for a second, and then we move over. Now, the Freelancer has more interactivity. So we can come up here, we can interact on the door. We're not actually here to demonstrate all this stuff, but I'm just showing you. The hangar does have its actual uses for interacting and messing around with your ships, but it's limited when you just have the Hornet. There's just not a whole lot you can actually do in the Hornet. With some of the more interactive ships, the Cutlass, the Avenger, not the Avenger, but the Retaliator, and then I can't remember, the big popular one that everyone wants. It doesn't matter. The Starfarer, they all have more interactivity. And that's what you're going to do with the hangar. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to go back to the main screen. Now, from the hangar, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the one directly above it, Electronic Access. Electronic Access is going to load us in, and it's going to bring us to the Arena Commander. Also, if this is post 2.6, Star Marine will be here. Star Marine's coming in that. Arena Commander is almost exactly what it sounds like. You take your ship or one of your ships out into a small, isolated arena. And there's several different options here. We'll come in. we will start with Drone Sim. So Drone Sim's kind of the single player version. So you got Free Flight, where it's just you in an open zone. No enemies, no hostiles are going to come. You can just fly around, get familiar with your ship, how it maneuvers, how it handles. There's a few little landing pads you can land on, and there are 2 different maps you can do that on. Vandal Swarm is the NPC mode, the horde mode of the game. So there's 18 waves of Vandal. They get progressively stronger, and every 3rd wave is an elite wave. So you have a weak wave, a slightly stronger wave, and then an elite wave. And then you'll have a weaker than the elite wave, but more powerful than the first, and it just progresses on like that. And you have 3 lives. You'll get you'll get 2 AI NPCs that'll help you until they get blown up, but they respawn after every 3rd wave. You can do that in Vandals, or you can do Vandal Swarm on either map. So there are 2 maps there, and here would be where you select whichever ship you actually want. You can see here, I can take this in. Some of the larger ships, like the Constellation, that's what I was trying to think of back in the hangar. The Constellation, the Avenger, those are not available. It's basically anything that is, freelancer and down in terms of size is available for that. There is also a classic race, so there's waypoints. You fly through the waypoints, and if you get through them faster than the competition, you win, and you can change how many waypoints there are. So the more you click up, the more waypoints there are supposed to be, though I think this might be bugged and actually be backwards, where this is the most waypoints. This is like 15, and this is like 8. Don't trust me 100% on that, but I think it's backwards. There is only 1 racing map right now. So that's what you can do in Drone Sim. If we return back, we can go into Spectrum Match. And Spectrum Match is going to be a lot of the same options that were in Drone Sim, plus a few more. So this version here is going to match you with other players within the universe. You're going to have them populated in here, or you can add friends yourself that you have on your contact list to bring them in. And you got a bunch of different game modes. Battle Royale, free-for-all. Throw 20, 30 ships into an arena, one of the 2 arenas. And whoever gets 4,500 points first, which is like 11 kills, 10 kills, wins. Capture the core is capture the flag, 4v4. Free Flight is exactly what you think, just flying around an open map. There's no real objective to it and everything. It's just you and upwards of 11 other players flying around in the open map. Squadron Battle, Team Deathmatch rather than free-for-all, 4v4, Team Deathmatch going on. Vandal Swarm, same thing, but now rather than, so you still have the AI opponents. The Vandal are still computer-controlled. It's still 18 waves, but you have actual players flying alongside you rather than AI assisted players as wingmates. 2 maps, and then there is going to be the race again with the checkpoints. All that stuff's pretty straightforward. So it's a lot of the same options, just now playing with other players. This also does reward a currency that can be used to buy and rent things in game. I'll get into that in probably the 4th video. Let's go back. Private match, same options, just rather than using matchmaking, you have to add people from your friends list. So other than that, it's the exact same options. Return, 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 return. Okay. Now, we're going to get into the first half of the universe, but before we do that, let's talk the friends list. Because it can be added in-game, but in my experience, right here, from this screen is the easiest way to add contacts to your friends list. So if I click here, I can type, you can see there we have, it'll populate in whatever I'm typing. Now there's no actual crosshair cursor down there, so you can't actually see that you're in, but you go ahead, type in the name of the person you're looking for, click add, they'll show up in this menu down here. In my experience, it takes the menu 2 minutes or so before you'll actually see them. Like, so if you're talking to them via Discord, TeamSpeak, whatever, and they say, yeah, I'm in doing this or whatever, you add, you'll actually see the tag here, but you won't see the online status go green for upwards of 2 minutes sometimes. Sometimes you actually need to close out of the client, come back in, and then you'll actually see them in. This is the easiest way to do it. It can also be added via the Robert Space Industry website over there. You can log in on the website and add friends through that contact list. And you can do it in-game, but the in-game one's a little more clunky. Plus you have to wait for the loading in, and then you might not actually see them. You might have to close and relaunch. Do it here before you go ahead and move on forward, adding your contacts. At least in my experience, that's the best bet. Also, once you have your contact here, and you can see them down here, what do we have up here? We have 2 different options. Area 18 ArcCorp, which we will get into today, is kind of the social hub. There's no one flying any ships, no one shooting at you, you can't be harmed or anything like that. It's just a social hub. And Crusader. But all of these have multiple instances running. So ArcCorp itself, Area 18, has 40 player max or 44 max people per instance in it. So they're little shards, and Crusader has a maximum of 24. So if one of your friends is online and they're in, say, Crusader, what'll happen is when you click in here, the reason for the double click is in here, if say I had two different friends in it, it would show both of their instances and how many are available. So it'd be like Crusader, the person's name, and then over here on the right, it would say like 18 of 24 or 21 of 24 or 24 of 24 to tell you that the shard they're in, how full it is, and you could do it. So you'd be able to click on that name and then launch rather than joining in on one of these. And that would put you in that shard with them, so you're actually in the same server to play with each other. So that's another reason you want to do it on this side before you actually join in. Otherwise, you could be standing in the exact same spot on the space station, but they're in a different server than you. You're not actually going to see them. And the same thing would happen over here with ArcCorp. Crusader will be the next video. The next video is entirely going to focus on Crusader. We're going to go ahead, we're going to go over to ArcCorp, no friends, so there's no population down here, and launch in. Click, click, and then click launch. The last thing, while this is loading, I want to talk. The loading can be extreme in this game. Be prepared for that. If you're running, especially on a platter-style hard drive, there can be some real rough load times. This is on the SSD. ArcCorp normally isn't that bad, but Crusader can take upwards of 2 minutes off of an SSD. I've easily seen 5 minutes when I had it on my old platter-style drive. Now, there are times where it just loads forever. You have to judge it for yourself. But if you're not loading off of an SSD, give it a good 4 or 5 minutes before you're like, it's not loading, and close out. There's a lot of data being transferred over. Keep that in mind. Even on an SSD, it's regularly close to 2 minutes for me to load in to Crusader. ArcCorp here is a little bit better. Like I said, ArcCorp is just a player hub, so you see, all right, everybody here looks all the same. There's not too much to do around here. There's a few small things. We come out here through customs. You can see customs agents there, whatever, no interaction. We end up in this central hub. You can see I'm going to close bottom right-hand corner, the chat window. Can't be resized, can't be moved right now, even though it looks like there's arrows there. To close it out, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to hit F12. That'll get rid of it. We don't have to worry about whatever racist thing people are saying. And we can look around here. Right now, ArcCorp is, or Area 18, I should be saying, it's mostly non-interactive, just a representation of what it is they're going to be trying to do. So over here on the right is the medical unit. If you die, this will be where you respawn. There's a floating player helmet model there. This thing here that looks like it would be a news station. Inside there is going to be where you'll be able to pick up UEE missions. So you can maybe just look in here briefly. You'll see a bunch of terminals down inside there. So this is going to be like the headquarters for the UEE, where they'll hand out UEE missions. At least I think that's what they're intending to do with it. Yeah. Come back out. That right there is a bar, just some NPCs in there, not a whole lot to do. The Kasaba outlet, you can go in there, you can buy jackets, pants, or whatever. So, you notice if we hit F4, I look basically the exact same as everybody else. You can go in there, you can get a different baseball cap, jacket, or whatever. That over there is going to be, the Astro Mod is going to be a ship where you can buy ships and stuff. There's a scrapyard back there in the corner, the depot, and around here is the only other thing that we can really interact with. So the Kasaba outlet works, and right here, the guns and ammo, the Cubby Blast also works. So if we run inside here, we have weapons, armor, and flight suits. So if we walk up to any of these, you can see here there's white dots, and you look at the white dot button in the center screen, you get different options. So with the mouse wheel, I can roll up and down, and if I click F on that, I can pull it out and inspect it. So this is an energy weapon. Hit F again to exit, and then if I wanted to, I can mouse wheel down to buy it. I don't actually want to buy it. If we look here, I actually already own this. This is the shotgun. It's an energy shotgun. I already own it. So you have inspect. Wait, no, I'm sorry. That's the energy rifle. Inspect or buy. The shotgun is this one right below. So I can equip and unequip, and now it should actually be on my back. No, because I don't have my armor on. So I've already bought the shotgun, equip, unequip. There's the ballistic rifle, so everyone spawns with that one no matter what. Yep, sniper rifle, all that stuff. Over here are pistols. There's ballistic pistol. I think they're all ballistic pistols. No, they're different types of pistols. There's the energy pistol. Yeah. And then you got body armor. So, again, go ahead and hit F. We'll try on the body armor. And now the guy will actually turn around. Hit F to take it back off. And I actually already own this armor over here, the heavy armor. So we can equip it right now if we wanted. And there we go. Now we have the helmet on. Yep. And that's actually the reason I'm not wearing it, is I didn't want the helmet showing up too much when I was doing the video. And then back in here are flight suits. Yeah. So there you can see I already have... I own this one, so I could equip it if I wanted to. And the flight suit helmet does give a much better view. You only get that little icon down to the bottom there showing off that you are wearing a helmet and everything. And that's basically it for ArcCorp. Okay, this was just the very beginning. We just touched the surface. It's 20 minutes. We're then going to go ahead and part 2 of this, we're going to pick up actually in Crusader. Crusader has a whole bunch more. There's easily 20 minutes just to explain what's going on there. So we're going to go ahead and split it up. Until next time, this has been Paller. Thanks for watching.